Niner Empire, welcome to the Phresh Perspective Podcast. Now here's your host, Jerry Phresh.
What is up, Niner Empire? It's your boy, Jerry Phresh, and you're listening to the Phresh Perspective Podcast. Niner Empire, it has been a while since I recorded my last podcast. There's a good reason for that. You know that game where the 49ers destroyed the Panthers 51-13? Well, I was celebrating my birthday at that game. Now, while my birthday wasn't that Sunday, my birthday was on the 30th of October, the day before Halloween. And let me tell you something, before going to that game, I was nervous. I was like, am I really going to go and celebrate my birthday at this game? And what if the 49ers lose? But you know what, 49er Empire? They did not lose. They surprised me. Let me tell you about the atmosphere at the game. That wasn't just a regular game. I've been to a few other games. I'm not a season ticket holder. I'm not a person who goes avidly. I don't often tailgate. I want to get into those things. But in reality, 49er Empire, this game had some power in it. As I was sitting in my seat, I mean, let's go back. Okay, so we drove out there. I live in Sacramento, and we traveled all the way to Santa Clara. And with the fires going on in California right now, our prayers are with those who have been dealing with the fires and the blackouts. You can only imagine what these people are going through. To those who lost loved ones, my condolences. Now, traveling on the freeway with the fires going on, there was a lot of traffic and things going on the 80 freeway. Ideally, you take the 80 for a while and you can cut over 680, whatever you want to do in order to get to Santa Clara. You're listening to the Phresh Perspective Podcast with your boy, Jerry Phresh. So I'm on the freeway with some friends. I'm not driving. That's the privilege of being your birthday. Are you celebrating your birthday? You don't have to drive. So I'm kind of relaxing in the back. I'm updating my Facebook and there's traffic. And we're all talking about the game like, this is the real game right here. This is the game that everybody's been talking about. They've been saying like the 49ers need to win this game against the Panthers in order to be considered legitimate. Now pause real quick. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this game because we already had another game. I done missed out on a lot in between. I just want to update you on what's been going on with me. So anyway, we're on our way. There's a tree down. The wind done blew a tree down. When looking out and all around on the freeway, and you can see all types of trees blowing over, and there's so much wind. I'm thinking this is going to be a hard game. We had just came off the game in the rain with the Redskins, and it was like, this is almost a mud bowl, and then we're going to have just wind that was going to mess up the game. But as we traveled and got closer to Santa Clara, the wind actually began to die down a lot more. So if you're in the Santa Clara area and you thought it was windy, head back towards Sacramento, and it was more wind. Anyway, so we ended up paying some money to tailgate our park in a parking lot that was about 3 blocks away from the actual stadium. And we enjoyed some drinks and we had a good time just kind of talking. We got there an hour early, and one of the fellows the gentleman I was with was able to get us some field passes. And so we were there a little bit earlier and we walked over. The weather was, like I said, aside from the wind, the temperature was beautiful. And then as you enter the main parking lot where all the tailgaters are and all that kind of stuff, it was just a beautiful thing to see. There was Niner fans everywhere, a sea of red and gold. And you could see that everybody had optimism on their faces. You're listening to the Phresh Perspective Podcast with your host, Jerry Phresh. So you can see optimism on everybody's faces. Now, what I would like to see, Niner Empire, is even more unity. And I'm not saying that there's a lack of unity. I'm just saying that as I was walking through, I kind of nodded at some people and whatnot, but you could just see that we're almost there where it's like a family. And so I'm not gonna nitpick, but it was beautiful. And the food, you could smell the barbecue. You could see people. Oh man, it was like a huge family reunion as you're walking through there. People are optimistic and excited. And at that point, if you're a person like me and you're like nervous because you're here at this game, it's your birthday celebration, and you don't know what the team's going to do, isn't it nice to have big brother, big sister, mom, dad, everybody that was there to come around and kind of say, don't worry about it, we got this. So as we headed in and we went down to the field and we seen Nick Bosa and we seen Kittle and Garoppolo and Sherm, all these awesome players. You see him on the field. And one thing, side note, Nick Bosa's a stat. He's stacked. Nick Bosa, you see him, and when I seen him, I was like, because on TV he looks a little bit more compact. Like, all right, cool. He's a compact dude, and just like a ball of muscle. But when you see him on the field, he was in his warm-up attire. You're like, okay, he's a little more lean. He's muscular, but he's a little more lean. You could tell as I seen him. I said, okay, he's a little more athletic looking than I thought from just TV. That was the first time I seen him in person. But I tell you what, he proved that he was athletic, right, in that game. Anywho, man, as we're there, we're on the field. We're taking pictures. You're listening to the Fresh Perspective podcast with Jerry Phresh. We're there, we're taking pictures. We're getting to know some people out on the field. You're seeing the players out there. It's a beautiful thing. Brian Young was out there. It was beautiful, awesome. In the stands, we were sitting higher. We didn't have on the field seat. We were sitting a little bit higher. But even in the atmosphere of sitting high up there, it was just a lot of people there that were just excited to be there. Sprinkled in there, we seen Panthers fans here and there, but nothing too crazy. Nobody was belittling anybody, not that I seen. Out of 70,000 people, I couldn't have my eyes on everybody. But what I did see was I seen a 49er empire in unity, having a good time. It was a fun game to watch. Just looking down, seeing everybody. Man, every time somebody made a play, every time Kittle made a catch, every time Emmanuel Sanders, every time Nick Bosa did something out of this world, my hands were hurting because I high-fived so many different people. I tell you what, when Nick Bosa caught that interception, everybody's hands went on their head, and we just looked around like, what just happened? Like, I had a buddy that was sitting with me, and Nick Bosa intercepts it, and immediately he turns around to the dude behind him and starts high-fiving and stuff like that. Just immediately, right when he intercepted. I have to turn this guy's shoulders around like, hey, he's still running. He's still running. And you see Nick Bosa going, and you're like, this dude is crazy. And he could have went 50-50 if he could have scored. He could have scored. He was a little winded at the end, but you could just see it. So that game just brought more optimism. 51-13. Now, you say, we had a 51-13 game against the Panthers. You listen to the Fresh Perspective podcast with Jerry Phresh. You say, we had 51 points to 13 against the Panthers. How in the world did we go in and not beat the Cardinals, a team that is ranked lower than the Panthers? Why didn't we beat them like that? We got to bring some clarity to the way we look at things and how we understand stuff. Before you just say something, you got to go study. Stop looking at things with your eyes and just going and saying stuff. I see they beat them by this much, so they must have to beat the lesser team by this much. Number one, the Cardinals have always been a hard team for us to play. They've always been a rival team that has always come in since we've had them in the NFC West and since we've been playing them, especially for the last few years. When they say 8 straight games we lost to them, if you don't take that in consideration, then you're not thinking before you speak. So we had all these losses to the Cardinals. We come off this big game. We have a short week. So you have a rivalry, a team that wants to beat you, trying to prove themselves. Then you're going on a short week where I read an article, I believe it was by David Bonilla, that pretty much said, or Bonilla, I don't know how that's pronounced, but he basically said the 49ers didn't even have a full practice for this game. Maybe they had a walkthrough, I don't know. But they weren't prepared. So on talent alone, they go out there and basically if they don't give up some huge plays and Debo catches a ball or two and things go, we would have pretty much blew out the Cardinals. So before you get upset and say the 49ers are not legit or we always have things to work on. I don't care if we would have blew the Cardinals out. We always got things to work on. So that's not something that we're going to sit there and just say the 49ers are not on pace. Let's go back. Last year, the 49ers were 4-12 and would have lost both of these games. We might be 1-7 right now. So don't lose sight of the great things that we're doing because you're looking around saying, well, we could have done this or we could have done. Yeah, we always could do better. You're listening to the Phresh Perspective Podcast. I'm your host, Jerry Phresh. I love the fact that you guys come in and listen to this with me. Now, while this is not a live show, I don't edit this as far as what I'm saying here. I let it play through. This is all live. I have nothing written down. I'm just going for it. Anyway, back to that Cardinals game. So you see the 49ers, and I want you to look at every game from week 1 all the way to week 8, or that 8th win. And I want you to see something that is awesome. The 49ers are finding ways to win in every situation. What's unique about the playoffs is that the playoffs present new ways for teams to have to learn how to win or lose, whatever. If your team goes in there and they've just been blowing out teams with the offense that's just hyper explosive, going in there, hyper explosive down the field, and then all of a sudden you get to the playoffs and now the chess game's on, the chess match is on, and teams have prepared for you and they shut that down, but all you know how to do is win that way. It is very difficult, and you've seen teams do it like the Chiefs last year and the Rams. It is very difficult for you to adjust when you don't know how to win in that fashion. You don't know how to win if your defense, like our team, has been dominated for 7 straight games, dominating. And then all of a sudden, the Cardinals are able to run on our defense and score some points. If we were not a good team, we would have lost our minds when they shut down the only thing people thought we knew how to do, and that was play good defense and run the ball. But instead of shutting down, the 49ers, Jimmy Garoppolo stepped up. Could somebody give Jimmy G a round of applause? 317 yards, 4 touchdowns, 9 different receivers. The man went off. You're listening to the Phresh Perspective Podcast with your host, Jerry Phresh. Thank you so much for being here right now, listening in with me. Jimmy G stepped up. And then I begin to think about it like, wait a minute, is this just Jimmy G stepping up? Or is this the time where Kyle said, listen, Jimmy, I can see Kyle pull him aside. We don't have much time to prepare for this game. I'm sure the Cardinals have overly prepared for this game. It's the opportunity for a rivalry team to go against the best team in the NFL and to go against an undefeated team and prove themselves on national TV. So I'm not going to overdo it, but I'm going to need you to step up and win this game. I know we've relied on the run because I've designed it to be that way. But this time, Jimmy, I'm going to allow you to play the game and show everybody how you play. Because I think that happened. I know it's hearsay, it's just me thinking it. But doesn't that make sense? You got a short week. Everybody in the locker room, Richard Sherman's out. Everybody's saying, we don't like Thursday games. You don't have time to prepare. You got to sleep at the office just to make sure you don't totally give up on this thing. I could believe that Kyle and his coaching staff had a plan to go in there, try to get out of there without any injuries. And as you know, Quan Alexander, we had some injuries. Thank the Lord. Thank you, God, that Kittle was not seriously injured and that we have this long extended time for him to get better. Prayers out to you, Quan Alexander. You're awesome. Love your energy. Now, he's injured, but that doesn't mean that he's not going to be there on the sidelines and not going to be there in the locker room saying, let's go. That same intensity. And if you notice, Fred Warner, there was a story that was out when he was a rookie that talked about him being explosive as far as communication and kind of being loud when he pronounced the play. That they had to say, hey, calm down a little bit. Well, I believe that intensity will increase and you'll bring Dre Greenlaw in and we'll continue to move forward. But overall with the 49ers, the way that they played, I feel like Kyle Shanahan put the game in his quarterback's hands. Then he proved, he said, listen, look at everybody on national TV. See, when you're a fan, the only thing that speaks to you when you're I don't want to say bandwagon fan or anything like that, but when you're a fan, it's just about points and you like that kind of thing. You're a college game fan. Oh, I love when we just blow teams out. That's the only thing you see is those big points. And that's the only thing that really stands out to you. But what you didn't see was Kyle and Jimmy G and the rest of the 49ers flexing on the league saying, listen, you may find the antidote to stopping our running game and slowing down the pressure of our defense. But when you do that, we'll have a quarterback that can light you up. You're listening to the Fresh Perspective Podcast with your boy, Jerry Phresh. It was awesome to see. I was frustrated in that game. I cannot lie. As I'm watching that game, I'm like, are you serious? Like I said before, one thing you don't want to do is let a team run on you. Sometimes the pass happens and we're a team that, with the way we play defense, there's some underneath passes that are going to happen. But when they're just running on a defense that's known for stopping the run, it's aggravating. It's aggravating. And just the way that, you could just tell that towards the end we're getting tired, but I had to keep telling myself that this is a new team. I found something to myself towards the end of the game, even when Andy Isabella caught that crazy touchdown, 88-yard touchdown. I was there and I was like, I wasn't at the game, but I was in my living room and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, you know what? I have faith in the 49ers because they look like that team, like that Aaron Rodgers type team. And Jimmy G looked like he looked like he had something in his eyes, and it was confidence. It wasn't fear. And that's one thing you want to see. When those games are going on, I'm not looking at Nick Bosa. I'm not looking at anybody else on the team. I might love them, and I love the stats. But for confidence and hope, I'm looking at my quarterback. You're listening to the Fresh Perspective Podcast with your host, Jerry Phresh. So I'm seeing Jimmy G, and guess what this man's doing? This man is smiling and laughing. Looked like a model out there, just crisp and clean, Colgate white smile. The boy ain't afraid of nothing. I'm like, either he's real smart and knows something, or he's acting like Eli Manning out there and has no clue of what's going on. But Jimmy G knew. Jimmy G is the best third down quarter. Listen, when you have watched Tom Brady, the greats, Peyton Manning, you name the quarterback. Yes, their completion percentage has been awesome. Yes, they've thrown some of the most amazing plays. Aaron Rodgers has back foot, off platform, whatever you want to say. He's thrown some great passes. But that is all for nothing if he cannot make completions on third down to keep them on the field. Fam, you see Jimmy G is a quarterback that has not been asked to do what we saw him do. I think this proves that he can do this when he is called upon to do it. It is his coach's responsibility to put him in position to do that if he wants to, if Kyle Shanahan wants to. But Kyle Shanahan wants to run the ball. He's such a cerebral coach that he doesn't want to give everything away on a short week. So he doesn't want to design elaborate plays on national TV. I believe Kyle Shanahan is paranoid, and I think that's what makes him a great coach. I think he's paranoid that if he shows this or shows that, it's going to get the Seattle Seahawks or another team prepared for when they play them. So I believe Kyle Shanahan strategically says, okay, I can defeat this team by using this. It's going to frustrate a lot of people in the fan base, but I can defeat them. We can defeat this team and not show our hand to this team. Now the Seahawks are looking at this Cardinals game after they play the Buccaneers, and they're like, okay, we could do this against them, and we could do that. Kyle Shanahan did not call the same game that he called against the Panthers. It was different. It wasn't just that their defense was really good. It wasn't. Kyle Shanahan called it. It was different. He called some of the same formations, but it was different. And he's such a cerebral coach that he knows how to set up teams, even those who are peeking or who are looking, and say, okay, I want them to see this. So when we get over here, I'm going to do this. They're going to believe that this is our tendency, but in reality, this is our tendency. You're listening to the Fresh Perspective Podcast with your host, Jerry Phresh. Looking at that right now on the TV in the background, I got the Colts and the Steelers 10-10, 2 minutes and 21 seconds left. See, I said this is me. I'm watching the game in the background. We don't have any games on today, but I'm also talking to you guys. I don't cut any of this stuff out. I love doing this. I love the 49ers. I love the you guys. You got to keep being kind to each other. Real quick, I'm noticing on Facebook and in other social media, people are bringing up all types of negative energy and attitudes, and the way they're talking and dealing with people, and it's disrespectful. And we need to, what happens is that everybody has pride, and everybody wants to prove that they're the best or they've been the most loyal, right? And so what happens is that when everything's going good, our natural instinct, that's why we have sports, so we can have justified war or competition. You know what I mean? It's something that we can do to go against the next man, that's not illegal. And so when we're sitting here and we're winning, people's competitive natures are still going. And they're like, wait a minute, yeah, we're winning, but I was the first one to really like the four. And I need to show everybody that I'm the best at knowing what they're going to do and how they are. And we start belittling people, and we start causing divide. Let's cut that out. Let's stand in unity. Let's walk and march this thing out together. Remember, people know players and players know people. The atmosphere, the vibes, the positive vibes or negative vibes that you put out, make their way into the stadium, into the locker room, and into the minds and the beliefs of those players. So we have to make that decision right off the bat that we are going to be positive and believe in this team. I talked last time about people who have been fans for years and having a problem with those who are bandwagon fans. And I pretty much said, long story short, we need those fans too. The Empire needs new fans. We don't need to just imagine if when you wanted to become a fan, the door was shut and they said, we already have enough fans. You're a bandwagon fan. There's a new generation of people that are looking and are hungry for a team that is good. And what better team than the red and gold to go out there and recruit some good, loyal fans. You're listening to the Phresh Perspective Podcast with your boy, Jerry Phresh. Back to those two games that we had, they were impressive. I love what the 49ers are bringing to the table. From the Washington game, the Panthers game, and to the Cardinals game. You've seen the 49ers win in such drastically different ways. And that right there is something that you can be very excited about. You want a team that can win in off-schedule ways, like I said, in the playoffs and whatnot. If a team can win when things happen, the Patriots are, 8-0, 9-0? And everything's been pretty much going their way. Now, of course, they tried to get Antonio Brown. That didn't work out. They released Josh Gordon. There's some things that happened. But what they've planned to do has happened. But now look at the 49ers. Injuries have happened. Any team in the league, right now, you take off their two anchors on the end, both tackles. You take away their star fullback. Now, not a lot of people use their fullback, but the way we use check is huge. When you do those things, you tell me the 49ers losing and learning, they're losing bodies on the field, but winning anyways. And the Patriots are pretty much cruising through. When it comes down to adversity in the playoffs, who are you going to trust more? What team are you going to say has the ability to push forward? You see what I'm saying, fam? You're listening to the Phresh Perspective Podcast with your boy, Jerry Phresh. Yes, I am optimistic. Yes, I'm hyped about what this team's doing. I'm a happy person by nature. I go to work happy. We got to stay excited and happy about what's going on. We've already been through so much with the 49ers, up and down, up and down. Could it be Jed York, Mr. Jed York, who we all made fun of, who we wanted him to sell the team? Is this man has made a good decision in the coach and the GM that he put forth in here? Can we finally give some kudos to Jed York for going in there and picking somebody that was great and that is great and is good? I love the combination of John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. I love Robert Saleh as well. I love the way he was dissed and kind of, he's not that good. And look at him stepping up. He stepped up. But there's somebody that's under him that I want to give some credit to for, I believe, and that's Chris Kusarek. And I believe that Chris Kusarek he's a huge reason why the 49ers are successful on defense. The way that he coaches those defensive players, that line, it's just amazing. He reminds me of I'm forgetting his name right now. You guys will help me in the comments. He was our line coach, and he became our coach for a little bit, and it didn't work out. Because for a little bit, I was thinking Chris Kusarek is going to be the next man up. Like if Robert Salah leaves and we don't find anybody like a Dan Quinn or whatever, Chris Kusarek is the one that can step up. But then I began to think, like, man, with the way that his personality is, maybe he's not meant to be in a higher position as a coach. Now, I could be totally wrong. Maybe he's awesome. And if he is, then let's promote this man to defensive coordinator if that happens where Salah leaves. But I do remember when we had the coach and he came in, and forgive me for getting these names wrong right now. Like I said, I'm not going to edit any of this out. His name's on the tip of my tongue. It's probably already in the comments. He was awesome when he was our position coach. But as soon as he was in front of people, it was time to, oh man, this man was saying some stuff and mumbling and stumbling and fumbling. You know, bless his heart, but it just didn't happen. And then after that, the relationship with the 49ers wasn't the same. It's like if you become a coach and that didn't work out, then it's pretty much, you know, bye-bye to you. And so I don't want that for Chris Kusarek, but maybe he will be a good defensive coach with his intensity and what he brings to the table. You're listening to the Fresh Perspective podcast with your boy, Jerry Phresh. Let's get away from that tangent. Talking about the 49ers. The Niners are, you know, we have to stop real quick. A lot of times we go and get ahead of ourselves and start thinking about stuff that, you know, if the Patriots were doing it, then you could say, okay. If the Patriots were being faulty in some areas, you could say, okay. And even with the Patriots record, you can kind of dissect that. But I'm going to tell you right now, these easy games that you guys are claiming, the 49ers would have lost them last year. Let me say that again. These easy wins, more than half of the easy wins that we've won, that you claim that they're easy, we would have lost them. So the fact that the 49ers continue to win the games that are put forth in front of them, their schedule, it's huge. You're listening to the Fresh Perspective podcast with your boy, Jerry Phresh. Man, kudos to everybody who checks out this channel, who's on the Facebook, who's on Instagram. I don't really have my Instagram and all that kind of stuff and Twitter set up in depth like I do YouTube and Facebook. But, excuse me, thank you guys for coming on here and checking me out and chilling with me. Now, the next game that we have, we will be playing against the Seahawks on Monday Night Football at Levi Stadium. Thank God it's at home. And I believe that, what I wanted to say was, you remember when the Warriors so long ago were at the top of the NBA? Man, how fast have things changed? But you remember the Warriors on top. And what would happen? The regular season would go on. And the Warriors is talented. Kevin Durant, all those players, even before Kevin, but Kevin Durant on there, what would happen? They would end up losing games to teams that were lower ranked. It's something in the fact that players get hyped up when they know they have to play against a team that is equal or close to competition for them. But when they're not, it's like, well, you know, we can beat this team. And maybe you're a little too confident. And maybe that's why Richard Sherman was talking about humility. When they played against the Panthers, when the 49ers played against the Panthers on Sunday, it was like, oh man, this team is supposed to be this good and they're on this momentum and they're kind of like us. And they went in there and you saw the full force of when the 49ers concentrate and put that intensity out there, and it was unstoppable. Then off of a short week against the Cardinals, who usually play good, the 49ers like, whoa, it's the Cardinals. We'll beat them. But they didn't play to that level of intensity that they had the week before. You're listening to the Fresh Perspective Podcast with your boy, Jerry Phresh. And so I believe that this game coming up against the Seattle Seahawks is a game that the 49ers will bring intensity for. I believe that who they are, their team, and what they, from Kyle Shanahan to Salah, to everybody, they know that the Seahawks have been the ones standing in the way. Not the Rams, not the Cardinals. I don't care how far the Rams went. The Seahawks have been the team in our way. And I believe that you're going to see the intensity that you've seen when the 49ers crushed the Panthers. You're going to see it on Monday night when they go out and play the Seahawks. Now, am I being prideful and saying that it won't be a competition? No. But let me tell you something also. Russell Wilson is not the same player that he was before. And he is most definitely not as quick as Kyler Murray. His ability to throw the ball and his decision making, being cerebral, is greater than Kyler Murray's at this stage. But as DeForest Buckner called him, that little squirrel, Kyler Murray, that is difficult. Russell Wilson knows how to manipulate the pocket very well, and he still has the ability to run, so we have to watch out. It's funny, as he gets older and he slows down a little bit, he's more like an Aaron Rodgers in the sense of manipulating the pocket, because Aaron Rodgers still will run on you and pick up a first down if you ain't paying attention. But I love that the 49ers are learning to have intensity for every game. And that's why I think Richard Sherman wants everybody to know and to have that every single game, not just the Panthers game, but every single game, we need to bring the same intensity and we need to blow teams out. We got to do it. So I believe on Monday when the 49ers face the Seahawks, that the 49ers will bring that intensity and they will win that game. I don't have a score prediction for you at this moment, but maybe towards the end of the show, I will. The 49ers continue to impress. They continue to do great things. They continue to show they can win in a myriad of different ways. Things that we should be very much excited about and that we should continue to give them props for. Things can change, but right now we're winning. And it's time to be excited about winning these games. It's time to be excited. It's time to be excited about how far we're going and how far we're going to keep going. So next time you get the urge to go out there and to say, well, the 49ers aren't that good. The 49ers can do this better, can do that. We know that. We know that. But how rare is it that the 49ers are 8-0, about to be 9-0? Let's get excited about our team. Thank you guys so much for always listening, liking, subscribing, commenting. It means so much to me. We are on the race to 2,000 subscribers. Almost there, but we're not quite there. I need you guys not only to listen and to like, but also to share these videos. Do me a huge favor. Everyone in the sound of my voice, share this video with at least one person. Share it on Facebook. If you like 49er content, positive 49er content, and you want to listen in. I'm Jerry Phresh. You've been listening to the Fresh Perspective. Let's go Niners. Let's get this W. Let's continue to win. We are 8-0, about to be 9-0. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day.
You have been listening to the Fresh Perspective Podcast. Until next time, go Niners.